Hey everyone, I'm Elfowls, and welcome to week 4 of the MGL against Girlietina. And we are working against a pretty interesting team here. This notably was a Sun team up until I think just this week, where they traded out their top tier Vulpix for the Drillbur. So it is just kind of a standard balance team now. I honestly think it's better for it. It's pretty threatening, and Drillbur is a pretty good Pokemon. So let's just get right into the matchup here. Drillbur, of course, just such a threatening Pokemon, especially in my team. My ground resists are not the best at switching into big Drillbur hits, so that's going to be tough. Bulbasaur doesn't have Sun to support it, but, you know, solid, bulky grass type, kind of an all-rounder that can do a couple things, be bulky, be offensive, have Sleep Powder shenanigans, so yeah, there's some stuff there. Slowpoke, big physically defensive water. Poltergeist, or is it Poltergeist or Sinistra? I actually never remember which one is which. I think it's Poltergeist. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of similar to what Sinistra does in the fully evolved tiers. Notably, it's missing Machagacha, so it has no way to burn me, which is actually pretty nice. I can play around that decently well. Growlithe, nice all-rounder fire type for my opponent, can be bulky with Intimidate, or can just hit you with big Flare Blitzes and Wild Charges. Larvitar, usually a Dragon Dance setup sweeper. Fletchling, kind of a worse Doduo for the most part, but I think it can get Gale Wings for some priority. Barboach, which I think can Dragon Dance, but I did not really look into it that much. And then you have Terra Bonsly and Terra Dino at the bottom there. Terra Dino, notably pretty strong in some scenarios, but it is pretty reliant on Hustle, which makes it pretty inconsistent. So I'm wondering if it's really viable to bring. You might have gotten the impression here, but I put in very little prep for this week. Honestly, this week kind of snuck up on me. So we did the best we could in the limited time that we had to prep here. But I think the team that I put together can put in a lot of work. We're starting off with Sprigatito. So that team over there has a lot of grounds and a lot of grasses. So flying and grass coverage actually looks really amazing. With itemless acrobatics and protein, Sprigatito gets pretty much amazing coverage into the whole team, just between acrobatics and Petal Blizzard. So we can hopefully Trailblaze up, outspeed everything, and just kind of go to town from there. If the Growlithe is still around, I need to just U-turn out because that thing checks me really hard. If I want a Sprigatito sweep, I need that Growlithe out of the way, but we will get to that later. Doduo, this is a Swords Dance sweeper with Oranberry. Pretty standard set for the most part. Brave Bird just hits really hard. Knockoff is actually my best move into Bonsly. I can't hit it any harder than I can with Knockoff. And then Low Kick once again sneaks itself onto the set as the best way to hit Larvitar. This is just kind of the breaker for the matchup. Can put in amazing work against the grass types. Notably, the Poltergeist can't really touch me, so that is very nice. Tinkatink, this is just kind of a general bulky steal for the matchup. It checks the Bulbasaur and the Poltergeist very well. Hits hard with Draining Kiss and Flash Cannon, especially into stuff like the Larvitar. And then, again, the plan is probably to just switch in the grass types and set Stealth Rock. Quaxley, this is my Growlithe check. It's an Eviolite set, pretty bulky with defense investment. Freaking out in the background. But standard set outside of, you know, just the Growlithe checking ability. Liquidation and Brave Bird get pretty solid coverage for the matchup considering the grass types. Roost for recovery and Rapid Spin for removing hazards. Then you have Inkay here, which is a Scarf set. Its dual stabs and superpower look really good in the matchup. There's nothing it can't hit pretty hard. And it also is not checked very well by Growlithe if that's their physically defensive answer, because Contrary does raise our attack if we get hit by that Intimidate. And then we have Trick on the set, mostly just in case I don't need the Scarf and I want to cripple one of the defensive answers like Slowpoke maybe. But the plan is just to go all out attacking here. And then lastly we have Toadschool. I mentioned I wanted the Growlithe out of the way for that Sprigatito sweep, and this is kind of the plan. We're pretty fast, which means we should be outspeeding non-Scarf Growliths, and we have Earth Power to hit it really hard. And then if it's Scarf or if it's a really bulky Growlithe, we can still win the matchup because of our Aqua Berry, so we can live a Fire-type move and get our Earth Powers off. Other than that, Giga Drain, really nice for Drillbur and Slowpoke. Knockoff, just nice utility, and Spikes for Hazard setup. So yeah, that is going to do it for the team. Like I said, pretty quick team builder this time. I am not super put together on what I'm doing in this matchup, but we will do our best here. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the battle. Alright, here we are in MGL Week 4 against Girlietina, bringing a team of... We have the Driller, Larvitar, Bonsly... Is that... I think it's a Poltergeist? I never remember which one's the pre-evolution. Growlithe and Bulbasaur. So they did bring both grass types, and they actually brought a Terragrass Bonsly, which is interesting. Let's see, what did they not bring? No Slowpoke, okay. No Fletchling is kind of nice for me, I guess. Alright, let's try to lead with Code School, which matches up positively in just about everything but Bulbasaur. Which I could knock off, we'll see. I kind of like that though. Alright, good luck, have fun to my opponents. Yeah, I think the ideal situation here would be to see the Growlithe try to just take me out with a fire move, and I can Earth Power. But instead, oh, okay. I like preambled that reaction to the first Pokemon that was being sent out. And I was like, oh, it's not gonna be Growlithe, but it is, okay. So, Code School Growlithe. So offensive Growlithe. Life Orb actually would still KO, but I'm betting it's not. Flare Blitz does not KO me if it's not a boosting item, and Earth Power could KO it back. It's decently likely to. So we're going to just try to go for it, I think. Alright, now here we kind of find out what happens. Yeah, alright. We get burned, which is crazy. Not that it super matters at this point, but the lure worked. Code School's going to KO Growlithe here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Alright. That was actually better than a Sash because of the burn, because now I do live the next turn. Alright, that's a big threat out of the way. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think because Growlithe moved before me, that was a Scarf, yeah. Good to know. Yeah, I actually didn't even consider that, but yeah, Growlithe isn't supposed to outspeed me. What am I, stupid? Alright, worked out though. And we see the Bulbasaur come out. That's kind of interesting. I don't really see a point in preserving Code School. Not really, and we outspeed the Bulbasaur anyway, so we could just go for the knockoff here. Especially because, like, I mean, Sprigatito definitely appreciates the little bit of chip, I think. And potentially knocking off Eviolite. So let's just go for the knockoff. Oh, it's faster with knockoff. What does that say about it? Code School against Bulbasaur. Yeah, that has to be Scarf too. Wow. Alright, but let's see what we're working with here. So yeah, we found both the Scarfs. So no more of those after this, which is good to know. I could go Doduo, actually. That's a decently nice here. The only problem is Bonsly is a decent switch-in. Just go Doduo, knock off, and then pivot out of the Bonsly, maybe? I kind of like that. I could theoretically get my Oranberry knocked here, but that's okay. I'm just going to go for the knockoff, I think. Worst case, we trade knockoffs, I guess, and no more Scarfers, so that's neat. I don't want to set up Swords Dance yet. Oh my, I don't know if the game itself or OBS actually caught that, but my computer just lagged hard for a second. Seems like we're good though. Alright. So Doduo, it is the Bonsly, yeah. Alright, decent chunk. It's Boots. So probably relying on like Sturdy to block a sweep of some kind. Interesting. Alright, well Doduo definitely looks amazing later. So engage to be a thing. It's also, oh yeah, it wasn't Eagle, so knock off. I guess that was in line with like a decently bulky Bonsly. Okay. Did I go Quaxley here? I might. It means we don't have as much to switch into Drillbur, but I could roost off the damage, maybe. Just for, ooh, that's interesting, Rock Polish. Okay. Am I prepared to deal with a potential Bonsly sweep? Wow. Alright. But let's see. Bonsly, itemless, spare grass. How much speed can it get to? It can get up to potentially, so 20 speed with Adamant, 22 with Jolly. I would tie it if I spin, which that's a bit of a risk, right? What do I do to this thing? I guess I'll just try to Brave Bird. I'm assuming a Terra's coming. Yeah. So it's not boosted. Terra Blast Grass. Even if Adamant's a roll, Jolly can never KO. Adamant is also not even a roll in its favor. So let's see the damage. Okay, yeah. 18. That's maybe a low roll for Adamant. Alright, I'm glad we got that read at least though. So Quaxley. Bonsly. So I go down 2. Yeah, we do. Alright. Okay. So, now what? I think, Doduo is pretty solid here. Sprigatito is also, like, nice to drop in. Yeah, does it really care about anything that's left? We Trailblaze on just about everything. So, I mean, I don't see why not. Trailblaze on everything except for, well, Bulbasaur would be bad, but I have Think Tank to deal with that. Poltergeist I'd probably want to switch out of. But Dodo was a very nice switch in there. Is that the... It is the Bulbasaur, that's probably worst case for me. But I do have Think Tank exactly for this purpose. Man, that was a scary Bonsly moment. Okay, Bulbasaur against my Tank. We know it's Scarf. Scarf Bulbasaur is bold in this matchup, because, I mean, Tank's obviously a great switch in, but so are some other Pokemon like Fuecoco. So you really have to make good reads. We'll see if my opponent does that. I switch out first, which means they're not switching. It's Scarf Sleep Powder. Wow, alright. That's kind of wild. Alright, well, they have to switch now, right? So I'm getting into potentially a matchup against, like, GawdBear wanted to come in with Girlietina. So let's see. GawdBear. Let's try it. Girlietina. I do not. I'd love to spend a sleep turn or something, but I do not want to let the GawdBear in for free. Yeah, there it is. So this is a speed tie, theoretically. Alright. If they have Poison Jab, that sucks. Even so, my Trailblaze does a lot. So, like, I'm going to try to set up here. If I outspeed and get a Trailblaze and they stay in and try to KO me with a super effective Poison Jab, then that sucks. If they switch, Trailblaze is amazing. But even if they do stay in and get the KO, I've done a ton of damage, and Inkay can kind of clean it. So we're going to go for it. It almost KOs. Wow. Goes for X Scissor. Does it take me out? It does. Unfortunate. Not quite the cat sweep that I wanted. Is it Life Orb? It is Life Orb. Does it go down? It does. Okay, so... Alright, we have Drill, Chaos Spring, and... I'm not sure how to count the Life Orb KO yet, but we'll figure that out later. Alright, let's go... Should I go Inkay? Or I could go Doduo, go for a couple low kicks into the Larvitar, and even the Dragon Dances, I have other guy, Inkay, to clean it up. It's kind of an Inkay endgame here, I think. I could just go directly into Inkay and start clicking Superpower, but not too fond of doing that yet. Okay, this is great. Actually, this is amazing. So... Doduo Poltergeist. I know it doesn't really get coverage for me, so I think I'm free to set up a Swords Dance. Larvitar probably switches in. We know it can't be Scarf. Look, and a +2 low kick should take it out, so we're gonna try it. Alright, so let's see what happens. Stun Spore, oh my god. Alright, that sucks. But we are gonna have to go for a... Let's see, can I afford a knockoff? I guess I can. Actually, that doesn't necessarily KO this thing, so we're gonna have to Brave Bird. Stomp or Reflect. Oh my god. Alright. I should just, like, boost to the moon, actually. If this doesn't kill, which it might not. It does. Okay. Well, I think the situation remains similar. Just the para does suck. But, like, if I'm +2 and it's Reflect, it still can't take 2 low kicks if it's like a Dragon Dance set. So there's the Larvitar, yeah. Yeah, so we go for the low kick. You're gonna try to Dragon Dance, I think. Your best play is to, like, bet on my paras, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we have to go for it. So let's see. Yeah, there it is.
There we go. We got it off. We're threatening to KO. You have to KO us back. Alright. Now, with that being said... This is a tough spot. Doduo against Larvitar. What about Inkay against Larvitar? With Reflect up. Superpower is still doing enough, so that's fine. So yeah, we're going to go for the... Do I want a low kick? I guess I have to threaten the KO. Rock Blast? Alright. Alright. So Larvitar. It was Doduo, but you did your job, Doduo. Now, we know it's not even the thing, the Fighting Resist Berry Chople, so Superpower is pretty darn free. We are going to go for it. And if Bulbasaur switches in, I think I swap out. And Psycho Cut should just kind of do it in there. I think your best play probably is to go Bulbasaur now. I don't know if that's, like, optimal anyway, but yeah. Okay, we get some power, and it's just Scarf Bulbasaur, so I think we're good. So Inkay gets the KO on Larvitar. This was a scary, like, setup team that my opponent brought. Alright. There it is. We're locked in Superpower, so obviously we're just going to switch a tank. And you should probably lock yourself into a grass move. Energy Ball, yep. How much is that doing to me? 4. Okay. Flex down. Yeah, so I might as well just go for Flash Cannons. I don't think I should be risking Inkay switching in or anything, so... If anything, what's going to happen here is Team's going to wake up and get a few Flash Cannons off. And Bulbasaur will be in Inkay range. Is that all 3 sleep turns? I wasn't really keeping track, I was mashing A. But I think that's all 3 sleep turns. That sucks. Not that it super matters. Wait, that's all 3 sleep turns. Oh my god. Okay, fine. Tank to tank. Flash Cannon's doing like a 3rd. We do survive long enough to get 1 off, and there's a Spinap drop. Cool. Cool, alright. Yeah, Bulbasaur can take me out. Alright, and let me just triple check here. Energy Ball. Not that I have any other plays to make, I just want to see. Energy Ball, I mean, it shouldn't KO me. Psycho Cut. With no Reflect, definitely does it. Yeah, we're good. Nice, we do take that 1-0, pretty close one. That was some hyper offense you brought. Crazy. But hey, Inkay clutches it out. And that brings us up to 3-1 for the season. I will certainly take that. It's actually halfway through the season, and we're looking pretty solid. So yeah, with all that said, good game to Girlie, and I will see you guys for week 5.